This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Chase Hughes, the world's #1 behavior expert, best-selling author, and former U.S. Navy interrogator turned neuroscientist and trainer of elite intelligence professionals. You served 20 years in the military and have since built a global reputation as the go-to authority on behavioral profiling, nonverbal communication, and ethical influence. Your methods are used by U.S. Special Forces, law enforcement agencies, and business leaders worldwide. You're the author of the Ellipsis Manual, the Behavioral Ops Manual, and the upcoming book, Exit, a guide to reclaiming mental autonomy in a world of manipulation and media control. Chase, welcome to London Real.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
Look, it's great to have you here. I wanted to ask you right off, we got an education in media and manipulation back in 2020. When we were minding our own business. It was actually April 6, 2020, and we had the second largest YouTube live stream in the world. And based on our calculations, it would have gone on to be the most watched podcast of all time. It would have been a beat Elon Musk, Joe Rogan Smoking Weed, which I think was around 10 million. And based on our live numbers and where we were on our previous, we thought that would get to 20. And 30 minutes later, it was deleted and banned from YouTube. Now, I'd been on there for 9 years. We were in the partner program. I'd been down to the headquarters in London, and this never happened ever before. And my immediate reaction was anger, and I tried to re-upload the video. That's kind of how I was like, I couldn't compute. And that started our, years-long battle for free speech. Soon after that, pretty much all the tech platforms dinged us. We were on the front page of the BBC, which actually put pressure on YouTube to pull us down. And I got an education in the censorship apparatus and also in media manipulation, which is what you talk about. And so maybe my first question, Chase, is do you think that the world learned a lesson about how the media manipulates them through that whole crisis? Or do you think that the more we think we're immune to it, the more susceptible we are?
Yes to both. Let me, if I can break this down.
Yeah.
What I think happened is during this process, I don't think we learned a lesson per se. I personally wouldn't characterize it that way, but I think you're right in saying that something shifted for sure. And what I think happened is we had information weaponization, information control. The dude who invented mRNA was banned from social media for talking about the vaccine that he
like Dr. Malone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had so much stuff like that going on in such a tiny amount of time that it was like a Psyops campaign, but they moved a little too fast to where like everyone kind of woke up to it. So what happened is we developed a rapid and contagious mistrust of authority or of what we perceive or call authority. So it made a lot of people start seeing things and looking for things that they normally wouldn't. And I think it kind of just woke some people up and said, wow, this is really bizarre, very unusual. And I think when I teach influence and persuasion, it kind of goes back to this in that a person, if I go to Best Buy and I buy a new Windows laptop, and I think what is it in London? It's Carphone Warehouse or like one of those electronics stores.
Yeah, Argos is the thing, I think. Yeah, it's like one of the stores, yeah.
And if I get a new computer, they're going to try to say, hey, do you want this McAfee antivirus? Do you want this anti-malware software? If I'm the kind of guy that goes, nah, I don't believe in virus.
Investment Club. Today, I consider it the best investment that I've ever made. We get 4 projects presented a week by their associated CEOs. Personally, I'm completely blown away by the quality of these projects, and I know of nowhere else where I would be given this same opportunity. Each week that passes, I feel more appreciative of the fact that I'm a member of this group. The vibe was just tremendous. Everybody's on the same wavelength. We just clicked. Everybody listened to each other, enjoyed their company. It was just magical. Take action. Don't take my word for it. Due diligence you need to do. And I really hope that someday down the road I see you in the club.
It far exceeded expectations, without question.
I stay away from those. I'm immune to that. I'm more susceptible. I become more susceptible because I view I'm immune. So it almost kind of inoculated a lot of people because we had this realization that, oh, up until this point X, whenever it was for you who's watching, I was bought in and I thought they had my best interests in mind. They were putting me first. My health was first. And up until point X, I was vulnerable. But then we kind of downloaded this mistrust, which is what an anti-malware program is. And I think that that level of mistrust, not that it's paranoia, it's just that I trust it less, a little bit less. I think that became a little bit of a wake up call slash antivirus for everybody.
Okay. Interesting. And how much does the fear factor play into it? Because obviously that was everyone was scared. Some would argue that was used as a tool. I still remember the numbers that would show up on the newspapers and on the websites, and that they would just almost paralyze you with the numbers of cases and deaths and all these things. And as you dial up the fear, it seems like you dial down the awareness and the intelligence. How does that work? Also in the work that you do.
Yeah, so let's talk about fear specifically. First, in terms of brainwashing, I've been a brainwashing guy for 25 plus years, written papers on it and books and all this stuff. But let's use fear as an acronym. And if you think of the word fear, that spells out the 4 steps of perfect brainwashing itself. And so the first one is F, and that stands for focus. So the first thing we have to do is capture the focus. And what we're talking about here is the mammalian part of our brain, this lower little animal thing that lives down in here that makes most of our decisions. I need to capture that focus. And the number one way to do that is to subvert expectations and prevent you from predicting your future. So it's like if you think of Caesar Milan, how does the dog whisperer come in like some
He
celebrity?
shocks them. He sticks them in the
like he
yeah.
makes a little sound, right?
Right.
So like some celebrity's got this little asshole dog that's biting everybody, and Caesar Milan's got to come in. First thing he does is massively change that dog's environment. So it establishes a massive amount of focus. So anything novel or unexpected generates focus. So the next element in brainwashing is emotion. So now we need something to kind of bring up and down emotions. And this is a hypnotic technique called fractionation, where we're kind of going up and then back down, like a tiny emotional high point, and then we kind of crash back down. These numbers are looking better. There's people getting on ventilators. Oh crap, the ventilators might be doing a whole lot of bad stuff. So we had this roller coaster that happened. So we had we couldn't predict our future. Something unexpected happened. Emotional, crazy stuff going on where we also prevents us from looking into the future. Then we get to the A in fear, and this is agitation. And this is changing the environment and changing habits in a new way. So think Caesar Milan. We're going to randomly change all these things that you thought you could expect all the time. You're going to get locked in your house. You're going to do X. You're going to wear a mask. You're going to, whatever it was. So it's focus, emotion, agitation. If I can disrupt the environment, then I create a raw, fresh area for the brain. And just think really quick of the fastest way for us to set goals for ourselves is to, like when people say, move your furniture around, convince your brain you're in a new environment, get up at a different time, brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand, all of these things, that's the same process. We're just manipulating the brain in a negative instead of the positive. So focus, emotion, agitation, and what's the final thing there? That's the R in fear, and that's repetition. And then we start again. Something novel happens, something emotional happens, we get agitated, the environment's disrupted, and then it repeats again. So repetition is the core principle of brainwashing. Without that R at the end, we don't have brainwashing, we just have persuasion.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club. so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.